Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and it's time for another Pokemon TCG online video featuring some of the Ultra Prism cards from Pokemon TCG. We're going to focus on one of our non-GX decks this time around. I do have to get another Pokemon GX to make another deck I've got assembled work kind of better. So for the time being, until I can get that card, we're going to focus on sort of a somewhat difficult strategy to pull off, but when it pulls off well, or when it pulls off well, let's say. It's going to be the Jurassic Rampage deck, which I did use in a live stream recently. But before I get too far into this, of course, I've got a whole stack of code cards. I'm going to give it one right now. Let's randomly shuffle up, see what code you guys get. It's going to be, as you can see down below the face cam in just a moment, an X and Y Evolutions pre-release box. So enter that code into Pokemon TCG Online. Get yourself the, I believe that would be the 22 card pack, the foil promo card, and what else would you get for that? Maybe sleeves in a deck box? I don't know. If you do redeem that code, feel free to let me know in the comments. What do you get for the pre-release? Actually, I think I've redeemed one myself. I think you just get the 22 card pack and the foil promo. But, I mean, that's still a good 23 new cards to get. Trainer cards, an evolutionary line or two in that current set. Well, not the current, but in that, at the time, current set of evolutions. Could be some pretty good stuff. Alright, so we're going to take a look at the Jurassic Rampage deck. It's going to focus on... Why is there no connector? That's weird. It's going to focus on Rampardos, a Stage 2 Pokemon. It is, of course, one of our fossil Pokemon. For 1 fighting energy, clean hit does 60, plus if the opponent's active Pokemon is evolved, if it's an evolution Pokemon, it does 60 more damage. What's kind of nice, though, is the Wild Crash. For 3 fighting energy, if your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, it is knocked out. Simply put. There is just no damage being done. You just simply knock it out if it's a basic. So, I want to try to make that Wild Crash work if I can, because a lot of the Pokemon GX nowadays are basic. Duskmane Necrozma GX, I'm looking at you, and a lot of other Pokemon GX. It could do some serious damage taking out a Pokemon a single hit, 1-hit KO. So I've got 2 Rampardos in the deck, I've got 3 Cranidos. They do evolve from the unidentified fossil, which we might as well take a look at right now. Right here. Play it as, so it's an item card, first of all. Play this card as if it were a 60 HP basic Pokemon. At any time during your turn, before your attack, you may discard this card from play. It can't retreat. So, if it does get knocked out due to damage, it does count as a prize for the opponent. So it's kind of a downside, but it might work out, you know? It's kind of cool how they're bringing back the idea of a trainer fossil evolving into Pokemon, as opposed to Sail Fossil and Jaw Fossil, which would say, look at the bottom 7 cards of the deck and place the restored fossil Pokemon onto your bench. So this might work out. We'll have to see. So I've got 3 fossils, 3 Cranidos, and 2 Rampardos. What happens if we don't get any basic Pokemon to hit with Wild Crash? That's where our good buddy Porygon-Z is going to come into play. The initialize ability says when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may de-evolve each of your opponent's evolved Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution card on it into your opponent's hand. So I'm thinking if we take on, I don't know, Lucario Garchomp deck. Well, first of all, the going down to Gabite, we could one-shot with our clean hit. Maybe 120 damage. But if we need to get it down into the, yeah, Gabite. If I got it down to Gibble, the basic form, we could then knock it out because it's a basic. But if we can de-evolve it down into Gabite, we'll be doing 120. But anything else, we can de-evolve it down, and every time we play Porygon-Z from hand, we get to de-evolve their Pokemon. Basically trying to get as many of their Pokemon down to the basic stage as possible. I've got 2 Porygon-Z, 3 Porygon-2, and 3 Porygon, rounding out that evolutionary line. And just to help us get our Pokemon in hand a little bit faster, we've got some of my old good buddies, Alolan Vulpix with the Beacon ability for no energy. Search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon, reveal them and put them into your hand, and then shuffle up. I've got 2 of these Vulpix in here. So that's 15 Pokemon. Checking out the energy cards, I have nothing but 10 basic fighting energy. Very nice. Good standard stuff. Do I have my draw support? Why do I not have draw support in this? I think I had the Scorched Earth in here, but I took it out for some reason. I might want to consider putting it back in. But anyways, that's going to be 10 energy cards. So, moving on to the trainer cards. First of all, to make use of the Porygon-Z multiple times, we have De-Evolution Spray. De-evolve one of your evolved Pokemon and put the highest stage evolution card on it into your hand. So once I've evolved into Porygon-Z, I can then de-evolve it immediately. And if I have a second Porygon-2 already in play, I can play that one, or evolve that one into Porygon-Z, again de-evolving. So I can go from a Stage 2 de-evolve the opponent's Pokemon all down to basic, which is where the clean hit, or sorry, the wild crash will come into play. I've got 2 Field Blowers, highly recommended for every deck nowadays. Choose up to 2 in any combination of Pokemon tools and stadiums in play, either yours or the opponent's, and discard them. Good for getting rid of your opponent's Float Stones or Choice Bands, or, well, Choice Bands aren't going to hurt us, but Fighting Fury Belt could be a thing. Good to get rid of anything like that, plus whatever stadium they might have to help them. We have 2 Nest Balls to search your deck for any basic Pokemon and put it right to your bench and then shuffle up. 2 Professor's Letters to find 2 basic energy cards from within the deck and take them and shuffle up. 4 Puzzles of Time to, first of all, play 1. You can look at the top 3 cards of the deck and rearrange them, but more beneficially, if you play 2 at a time, you get to take 2 other discarded cards back from the discard pile. A couple of random receivers, as I've said many times, not competitive in any means, but it is fun. You don't know what receiver or what random supporter card you're going to receive when you play this. I can't speak. And reveal cards from the top of the deck until you find your first supporter and then take it. Kind of makes things fun and interesting. Got a couple of Super Potions to heal 60 damage from one of your Pokemon and then discard 1 energy from them. We have 2 Super Rods. Now, I might want to consider, I don't know, putting in maybe the, what's it called, Rescue Stretcher. Don't know if that would help us or not. I'll leave it as is for the time being. If the deck doesn't work out, I might want to off-camera rethink that with a Rescue Stretcher. Anyway, 2 Super Rods. Shuffle 3 in any combination of basic Pokemon, sorry, Pokemon and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. I've got 3 of those unidentified fossils. And a cheeky little strategy I have here with the Po Town Stadium. Whenever any player plays a Pokemon from their hand to evolve one of their Pokemon, put 3 damage counters on that Pokemon. So it's going to help out in a number of ways. First of all, if I keep de-evolving their Pokemon with Porygon-Z, then every time they evolve up, they're going to be hurting themselves for 3 damage counters, 30 damage. If I then de-evolve them, I might be de-evolving them to the point that the current Pokemon's hit points are less than the current damage that they have. That could be a knockout. Another thing that's going to help us, though, is by evolving our own Pokemon up and putting damage on. I've got 2 Acerola in the deck. Put one of your Pokemon that has any damage counters on it and all cards attached to it into your hand. That could be another way to get Porygon-Z off the battlefield and have it in hand to play it again to use that Initialize ability. Might work out. We've got Cynthia in here as well. Shuffle your hand away and then draw 6 new cards. We've got 1 Gladion, just in case a card that we need is prized. I can play him, search my 6 prize cards for whatever card I want, take it, and then shuffle him into the prizes. And I have got 1 Guzma. Of course, every good deck these days needs to have at least 1 Guzma. Many run 4. Because they are very good. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon, and if you do, switch your active with one of your benched. So, if you don't have a bench Pokemon, you can still play this card, because the first move is to switch the opposing Pokemon around. It says if you do, then do your switch on your side, but if you can't, it doesn't matter. So, basically like Lysandre in a way, in that sense. I've got Judge to shuffle the hand away for both players, and each one draws 4 cards back. I've got Lily, which is a good turn 1 supporter card. Draw cards until you have 6 cards total in hand, but if it's your first turn of the game, you get to draw until you have 8 cards in hand. Again, as I said, a complete redo, complete, what would you call it? Replacement and make obsolescence, I guess, of Bianca from the Black and White days. I got a couple of Skylas in the deck to search your deck for any trainer card, put it into hand, and then shuffle up. We got Wally to help speed up our evolutions a little bit. Search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. Shuffle your deck. You can use this card during the first turn that Pokemon was put in play, or on your first turn of the game. This also counts for our Fossil, too, if you want to evolve our unidentified Fossil into Cranidos. The last cards are a couple of Wishful Batons. It's a tool that you attach to a Pokemon, of course. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is active and gets knocked out by damage from an attack, move up to 3 basic energy cards from that Pokemon to one of your benched. So if I do have a benched Rampardos and an active Rampardos, we got 3 energy on the active one. If it gets knocked out, I can move those 3 energy right onto the benched one. Keep that Wild Crash in play. So it's going to be an interesting sort of a deck this week. We've got 15 Pokemon, 35 trainers, and 10 energy cards. Let's see how many Garchomp Lucario decks do we face in this week's video. So, I am not a fan of fighting them over and over because, like I've said before, it's just repetitive. There's like little creativity that needs to be done for that deck. If we happen to face this, though, I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to try to fight. We don't see it yet. Water, lightning. Might not be a bad thing. But if we did happen to be facing Garchomp Lucario, I have ways to de-evolve the Garchomp, so I would not have been opposed to trying to battle against that. But I mean, we might completely tank on this battle. Might have to fight another one. Hey, we mulligan. That's just something I didn't. That's just something. I am Italian all of a sudden. That's something I didn't mention about this deck. It has very minimal basic Pokemon because the unidentified fossil, although you play it as if it was a basic, it does not count as that until you've already played it from hand. So I got 1 mulligan, 2 mulligan, 3 mulligan, 4 mulligan. Well, seriously. That might be a record on the videos. 6 mulligans. Do they take all those cards, I wonder? Let us take a look. They do. Alright. I can't blame them for that, I guess. So we have an Alolan Geodude and... Oh, Jolteon with Flash Ray, preventing damage from basic Pokemon. Hey! Thank you for Brooklet Hill. That helps me so much. Huh. This is interesting. They have something to block damage from evolved Pokemon and basic Pokemon. Do you have... What would you have that could make use of that for both? I wonder. I'm not quite sure what the strategy is here. But I'm going to use Brooklet Hill to get an Alolan Vulpix. I need to get an energy for sure. So I'm going to play the unidentified fossil. Goes onto the bench as if it was a Pokemon. Gladion, find us something, would you? We need 1 energy. There we go. Actually, I'm going to get the Professor's Letter to get 2 energy out of the deck to speed things up slightly. Let's grab ourselves 2 basic fighting. I'll leave that nice... I'll grab that nice golden one. Why not? Where'd you go? Thank you. So I'm going to attach the, call it the garbage energy to our Porygon. We will retreat into the Alolan Vulpix. I'm going to put a Wishful Baton right now onto the unidentified fossil. I'm going to get rid of their float stones right now. Get rid of both of those things. I'm going to keep that stadium because it's going to help me out. So let us go ahead and beacon to grab a Porygon-Z and a Cranidos. Now they can pay for the retreat cost for the Alolan Geodude because they do have the 2 energy on there. But it's going to take a while to power up their bench Pokemon, which could buy us some time. We got Mareep. I wonder, is this the Mareep that has, or evolving into the Ampharos that has the Shocking Light ability, I think it is, putting damage on opposing Pokemon EX? Because I ain't got no EXs in the deck, so I'm not worried about that. The Timer Ball is played, 1 heads is flipped. Get to search their deck for any evolved Pokemon. It is a Graveler. And what can you do to me? You get Thunder Punch to do 70 total, which would knock out our poor little Vulpix. If you get a Lightning Energy, which you have just gotten. Well, what I kind of like about what's about to happen, though. I didn't get the knockout. Alright, that's fine. We have time to keep setting up, at least. I'm going to play Porygon-Z. I will evolve into Cranidos. I'm now going to Brooklet Hill for our other Vulpix to get that down. I'm going to Wally up into Rampardos. Let's put a nice golden energy onto Rampardos. Can I make use of anything from the discard pile? Not yet. I'm going to keep things where they are for now. I'm now going to play Beacon, or use Beacon, grab a Porygon-Z. I guess we'll grab another Porygon. Now, will we see evolution into Alolan Golem GX? Because if so, it's going to be kind of cool what happens. Just don't Guzma me, would ya? The experience share is going to be able to move basic energy. And the Slush Rush of Alolan Sand Slash. Do we get to see... Oh, they're looking for Brooklet Hill, okay. I heard the little flick of a card. Do we get to see evolution into Alolan Golem GX? Slush Rush coming into play, making use of that, drawing 1 extra card every turn thanks to that ability. Oh, it's not the GX, it's just the regular Alolan Golem. So what can this do? A good serious chunk of damage. Heavy Slam does 200 minus 30 for each retreat cost. That's going to complicate things. I guess you're going to be able to move 1 lightning energy to each Pokemon, though. And go ahead, get the damage. 80. Not terribly the best thing. So let's bring up our Rampardos. I guess what we're going to do here, we're going to play 2 puzzles of time. I'm going to bring back the Field Blower, and I'll bring back the Professor's Letter. Yeah, I want more energy. I'll bring those 2 back. I'll get rid of those 2 experience shares. So long, don't need those anymore. Well, I never need those, haha. They are yours. But we're going to go ahead and grab a couple of fighting energy from the deck. I'll attach 1 to our Rampardos. I'm now going to de-evolve all of their Pokemon using Porygon-Z. Go back into the hand, guys. Alright, so what this leaves us able to do, I don't have any more water or fighting Pokemon to make use of Brooklet Hill, but I'm going to use Clean Hit. If the opponent's Pokemon is evolved, it does 60 more, so alone it's doing 1 point, but this is weak to fighting. A decent 240 damage being done. Another energy. So, bring up one of the Glaceon bring up the Glaceon EX or the Jolteon EX. Of course, Magikarp comes up. If they did, I would have been able to one-shot with Wild Crash, attaching 1 more energy. Do we get to see Magikarp evolve up? Alright, so we can't make use of Porygon-Z's multiple de-evolution just yet. We don't have a de-evolution spread. Choice band, you go right ahead. That is not a problem whatsoever. We get off the top of the deck. We got another Porygon-2. Excellent. I'll take that. And let's just do this. We'll do the effect of Wild Crash. If it's basic, it's not good. I mean, we would have done 60 damage if we wanted to, but we got us a Nest Ball. What do you say, Jolteon coming up? You're all basics. I can one-hit KO, and if I can't one-hit KO with the basic, then I have Clean Hit to do 120. It's a good combination if you can keep them pushed down into their basic forms. Now I'm going to take a look at the Alolan Golem. How much can you do to me? So Thunder Punch could do 70, and Electro Bullet does 80, and 20 to one of the opponent's bench Pokemon. So I'm not worried too much about that. Here we see a Slush Rush being made use of. Was it? I think they use Slush Rush right now. Tormarine. It's going to take a big hit. Let's play the Nest Ball. Let's get ourselves a... Oh, there's only 1 more basic left. Porygon-Z. I'm going to give an energy to the Vulpix, just in case we have to pay for the retreat cost at some point. And we will do Wild Crash again. Get another Rampardos. No other fossil yet to place down, though. So that has 110 hit points. We're going to do 120 with Clean Hit. Rampardos is just rampaging through these opposing Pokemon. Okay, we see the Alolan Golem. I ain't too worried about that thing. We're going to do 240 to that because it is evolved, and we're going to do 120 before reducing resistance. Cynthia, you could be useful. We're going to play Porygon-2. Let's go ahead and play Cynthia right now. See what we can get off the top 6 cards after shuffling up. I don't see a fossil, but I can de-evolve Porygon-Z now. And let's drop them back down. What would have actually been smarter to not do that, because they now have their Alolan Sand Slash back in hand. But I mean, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. There's Acerola. Alright, simply put, let's just go for the nice Clean Hit. Only 60, but that's all it had. I should have gone for Wild Crash just to be safe, but it worked out. So they could Brooklet Hill to get themselves another Alolan Sandshrew on the bench, which would give them access back to their Sand Slash once they play it next turn. Come on up, Graveler. You're going to evolve the Golem, I'm sure, but it ain't going to help you that much. Heavy Slam. That did some damage. But, check this out. Come on up here, Jolteon. Vulpix comes up. This is why Guzma has to be in every deck, folks. We see a basic Pokemon. We're going to Wild Crash it. Right there. That was the win. The Wild Crash was going to take it out. Of course, they don't let me get my last 2 prize cards. Thank you. I appreciate that. But let's try another match here. Wait, what do we get? An event ticket. Alright, I'll take that. And, oh, we're getting some of this powered up. Powered up. Okay, so let's try one more match. We got time. I want to see if I can get those 4 collection boxes. And if I do, I'd like to open them up at the end of this video. Of course, that was a pretty lucky match. I got some good card draws, and I was fortunate that the opponent had just the right things that we needed to hit with the damage and use the Wild Crash. This time might not be so lucky. Actually, we see Fairy, Colorless, Fighting, and Psychic, so that's a lot of Pokemon types. I didn't see Dragon, so I'm not super concerned about the Garchomp. So, how do you pronounce that? Crooksouls. Crooksouls is calling the coin flip. We win. We're taking that first turn. How many mulligans do we get this time? That wasn't bad either. Last match, we had 6 mulligans. And we still managed to get the win. How many do you think we're going to get this time? I'm going to say 4. I'm feeling 4 mulligans. I would hope just 1, but realistically speaking, I don't think we'll be that lucky. Alright, show us all the mulligans. Just the 1, really? Okay, and Vulpix, not a bad way to start. We got 2 fossils. We got Gladion, we got Potown. We got options here. If only we were going second, I could attack immediately. Alright, so let's drop a couple of fossils down. I'm going to play a Nest Ball to get a Porygon on the bench. Let's see what Gladion finds for us in the prizes. I'm not going to play Potown just yet. I'll go get Porygon 2. Although I already had one. Oops. So if I played Potown right now, it would only hurt us, because if they want, they can Energy Evolution their Eevee using a basic energy. By placing an energy on it and getting a Pokemon from within the deck, that does not count as playing from hand, therefore Potown would not activate. Why are you going to limit me to... I'm going to have to give you Potown then. I can only have 3 bench Pokemon. That's just mean. Now we're going to probably see Gardevoir GX. And maybe Sylveon GX. I don't know, do they have the energy needed to get any of the energy evolutions started up? Use a Tapu Lele, but you played your supporter, so grab whatever you want. Ain't gonna help you this turn. Watch it be Guzma. It could be Guzma. N. Okay, I will actually accept an N next turn. Kind of not, though, because then we can't make use of the beacon all that well. Power up our fossil. We're going to drop Potown now. I will evolve up into Porygon 2, putting 3 damage, of course. And I'm going to keep the Field Blower for the time being. Let's just Beacon. Doesn't really matter what I get, because if they play N, it ain't going to help us, of course, right? Let's grab Cranidos and Porygon-Z. In the hopes that they do not end me just yet. But if they do, it ain't the worst thing. Ooh, evolution from Sylveon into hand. I see, an Ultra Ball. Okay. They still have N. I want to get a whole new hand of cards. We see a Curlia. So, Magical Ribbon can search for 3 cards. It doesn't do any damage though, which is nice. We see the damage being built up. Now, Ralts has 60 HP. If I can keep de-evolving them down, then they're going to build up damage. And, oh, well, I'd say I see Wally, but that's not going to help us. Random Receiver could help us, though. Wait and see what we find. So that Magical Ribbon, they can search their deck for any 3 cards. So we no longer have the Potown in play, which is not the most fortunate thing, but we gotta work with what we got. We can't keep adding more damage onto these things as we de-evolve them. What I need to do is get myself a Rampardos. Another basic Porygon. We can't play it because, of course, our bench is currently maxed out. Let me see what the random receiver can find for us. Lily. Okay. So, I'm going to Super Potion. Just to get some more cards out of hand, I'm going to discard this fossil. I will play a Porygon. I'm now going to Lily for 2 more cards. Hey, Cranidos. I like that. Of course, next turn we have access to get Rampardos. So let us use Vulpix to get a Porygon-Z. And we'll grab the other Vulpix. So if they do not end me, like if they get a knockout on our Alolan Vulpix, then I can bring up Cranidos, evolve the Rampardos. I can play Porygon-Z to de-evolve all their Pokemon. We'll get a 1-hit KO on their Eevee. You can keep choice banding everything you want. That ain't gonna help you at all. Hello, Gardevoir. Full art Gardevoir. Cool. Alright, Secret Spring. Powering up that thing, are ya? Okay. So that thing does 30 damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. That's not fair. I hate Guzma. Why do people even play Guzma? You shouldn't use it at all. I'm just saying. But see how much it can ruin a strategy? That's why you gotta have a Guzma. Alright, now. Let me think. Is there anything that I can do to get my Pokemon? I don't believe so. But I'll drop the Porygon. No, Porygon 2. I don't have a basic Porygon. That is fine. Let's go into Porygon-Z. Yeah, we'll de-evolve them. Why not? Now, I shall de-evolve Porygon-Z right now. Put it back in my hand. I just evolved this Porygon 2 this turn, so I can't play Z just yet. Can't play Nest Ball to get the fossil. So since we're about to lose this Vulpix, probably, I'm going to play the other Vulpix here. Just to consistently get more Pokemon out of the deck. Another Porygon-Z, and in case we find a fossil, I'll grab another Cranidos. It's going to be difficult to deal with. At least, though, I can de-evolve the eventual Gardevoir GX back down into the basic of Ralts, because I have 2 Porygon-Z in hand now, and 2 Porygon-2 in play. That playing everything from hand to keep re-evolving up. You know, it'd be really neat though. There are some Pokemon that say neither player can play evolution cards from hand. So if you could combine that with something like this de-evolving, that would be kind of brutal. Alright, let's de-evolve everything. Get everything back into their hand. There's a lot of back and forth evolution, de-evolution. This is kind of fun. And let's de-evolve everything once again. Now, if only we had a way to get ourselves our fossil. We don't. There's another Porygon, so our bench is maxed out with Porygon. And let's just go for a beacon, get some more cards out of the deck. Let's get, we have Cranidos, Rampardos in hand. I'll grab a Porygon 2 and a Cranidos. Something else I could put in this deck, though, could be Rainbow Energy, because if I put a Rainbow Energy to one of the Porygon-Z, it does place 1 damage counter on. I could then play a Sorola to take it back that way. I might want to consider that, because of course that would provide any kind of energy that I need, not just the fighting energy. And if I don't have our Scorched Earth in here, without, or not getting the draw support, I don't need as many basic fighting, I guess. Up comes the Sylveon GX. You can search their deck for any 3 cards. That does buy us a turn at least. Hey, I guess I'll take an N. Give me a fossil. Give me Potown. Or nothing of the sort. Even a Field Blower I would have taken, so I could get rid of your stadium and put more stuff down on my bench. But we do have Guzma. Does anyone have a hefty retreat cost? There's 2 on this. They could have float stones. Alright, we'll see what the random receiver finds us first of all. That is a lot of power right there, that Sylveon GX's magical ribbon. Every turn you can search your deck for any 3 cards you want and take them. Isn't that kind of wild? Someone did make a comment on my last video, or one of the last ones, saying that instead of using Salazzle for draw support, I could use Alolan Raticate, which would be pretty decent. Let me grab the... Is there no more Potowns left? Really? Come on. Well, that's unfortunate. I will get a de-evolution spray at least, though. But if I use Alolan Raticate with 2 energy, you can use... or you search your deck for as many cards as you like, or based on how many bench Pokemon you have. So that could help out a little bit better. I'll have to consider that for future endeavors. Alright, so we can't really do serious damage. Let me see. I guess we'll start powering up Porygon-Z. And let us beacon Porygon-2 and a Cranidos. So this is turning out to be a little bit of a long drawn-out battle. So if I use this attack, Zap Cannon does 80. I can't use it next turn. If I were to de-evolve, I could retreat for 1. One more energy that can retreat the Sylveon. If they get a second Gardevoir GX, they could Secret Spring the energy they need. They could also have a Guzma of their own, too. So we see a Gallade with the Premonition. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 5 cards of the deck and put them back in any order. Sensitive Blade does 60 plus. If you play a supporter, it does 70 more damage. And there's a Guzma. Would you stop hitting the Pokemon that has energy attached? You're annoying me. Come on up here, you. Like Guzma, do ya? There you go. Okay. Porygon-2 here. Porygon-Z. Just to de-evolve them once again, just to be annoying. Does everyone annoy me with Guzma? Alright then. I'll annoy right back. All these cards going back into hand. And nothing else to do but keep powering up Porygon-Z, I guess. I could look at the top 3 cards. Let me see what I can find off the top. Got a fossil there. I'm gonna grab Acerola off the top. Because I can bring that Porygon-Z back into hand and make use of the de-evolution once again. I'm not gonna beacon. If I was to beacon, that shuffles everything. I'd rather make sure I get that Acerola. Float Stone, you're welcome to. This is not working out at all, really. But you've seen the idea. I'm about to forfeit, there's no point. They're gonna win. You get this one last turn to do something. Actually, I'll tell you what is your HP? 80? Yeah, I'm going to do one thing before we end this off. Actually, no, I can't. I was going to say, I want to de-evolve this thing and knock it out, but I can't. We'll just Acerola. We'll take our Pokemon back into hand, and we are done. There's no way I can win this one. So anyway, good game to my opponent there, but the first time, you did get to see some pretty interesting combos using the Rampardos. See, if they hadn't used Guzma, I would have had Rampardos ready to roll. I could have been destroying everything on that side of the field. That, if nothing else, shows you the power of Guzma. So, that's going to be our wrap for today's Pokemon TCG online video, featuring the fossil Pokemon of Rampardos, and the de-evolutionary options of... What am I doing? There's like 3 buttons to click, I chose the 2 wrong ones. The power of Rampardos, featuring the de-evolution possibilities of Porygon-Z. Now, what is the Pokemon that prevents evolution? Hang on. I don't think I have it, but I'll see if I can find Archeops. Take the filters off. Yeah, so from way back in... Oh, wait. You can't use it? Wonder why it's prohibited. The card... This card is banned in the following formats due to gameplay imbalance issues, so you can't even use it. But, if you could, Ancient Power ability says each player can't play any Pokemon from his or her hand to evolve his or her Pokemon. So if you had something like that in play, I don't think there's a current standard legal or even expanded legal ability like that. If there was, you could prevent them from evolving back up by using Porygon-Z to de-evolve, which would be kind of interesting. But anyway, we'll take a look at this deck here. That's what I put together. Kind of successful, kind of not. Again, it's one of my sort of more gimmicky decks, but when it works, it's fun. So, if you have something like this in mind for your own decks, do you have any suggestions on how you can improve this, or what do you think? Going with the whole Alolan Raticate idea that, and I want to, hang on, I got to see who made that comment. I want to give a shout out. Let me open up my YouTube comments here. Using the Alolan Raticate, if I have 2 energy attached, I could search for 1 card from the deck for each bench Pokemon that I have, which could definitely help out. I could find the Pokemon that I need, but also you could find, you know, supporter cards. Dustin Bourne made that suggestion. Any relation to Jason Bourne? I don't think so. Was it Jason? I think that's the guy from the movies. You know who I'm talking about? The Bourne movies. Anyway, of course it's spelled differently. But Alolan Raticate could help if I have 2 energy attached. I could search for any cards that I want, 1 for each bench Pokemon. But for the time being, for no energy, Vulpix does help you find the Pokemon cards that you need. So, if you have an idea like this in mind, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you do something like this, how well does it work for you? And if you don't, do you have any ideas how to improve this kind of a deck to make more use of different strategies like the de-evolution, hitting harder with Wild Crash, Po-Town, making them constantly damage themselves up? That's another thing. If they hadn't played their... What was it? Reverse Valley, I think it was? If they hadn't played that, then they would have been damaging themselves constantly as you saw all that de-evolution going on. So that could have been an option as well. Maybe more Po-Towns would help this out. But that's going to be a wrap for today's Pokemon TCG live online match video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, found it interesting, and maybe informative, giving you some more ideas on your own custom decks. If you enjoyed it, of course, feel free to pop a like down below. And if you didn't, there's a dislike, of course. Just let me know what I can do to improve these videos. Maybe it's the deck strategies you want to see more improved. But if you want to see some more Pokemon TCG online content, there's a link in the description to the entire playlist thus far on the channel. You can also check out some more links during the outro to some other videos, such as Pokemon Ultra Sun. We've got Pokemon Go videos, a pretty interesting one coming up pretty soon, within the next couple weeks or so. Not to sort of spoil anything, but let's just say I got myself an EX Raid Pass. That spoils it. You know, we're going for a Legendary. Anyways, that's going to be a wrap for today. Thanks again for watching, folks. Professor Chaz is signing off, and as always, I'll catch you next time.